Welcome to SVGTV's news for Monday, June 10th, 2024. I'm Triska Campbell with the details. St. Vincent and the Grenadines is getting ready to host the first of 5 ICC T20 World Cup matches on Thursday at the upgraded Arnesville playing field. The ICC T20 World Cup has incorporated promotions for Carnival in the region, including here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. On SVGTV's Viewpoint program on Sunday, Marketing and Development Officer with the Carnival Development Corporation, Essie Roberts, was asked about how the CDC is preparing to capitalize on the influx of visitors who are expected here for the World Cup Games by getting them to stay or return for Vincy Mas 2024.
Now, where we are currently at a stage, as Dougal indicated a while ago, where a team has arrived. The first team arrived today, the Netherlands. Again, Vincy Mas was also present at the airport. We had the carnival costumes and so on sent to the airport. We had other element dancers and so forth. So we had a nice little welcome ceremony there. Not just for the cricket team, but also for the other flights that came in. Because we had Virgin Atlantic that came in after and they were there. So with that whole vibe of carnival, when you come for cricket and you get to see a little bit of carnival, it just tickles the mind, you know. Person would inquire and so on, and information. You'll be seeing carnival all around the stadium throughout the entire period of cricket. For every game, every match, we'll be having that carnival presence within the stadium.
Regarding what they have been doing outside of the SVG to market Vincy Mas and encourage visitors coming from the world for the World Cup matches to stay for the festival, Roberts said the SVG Tourism Authority, which is responsible for the marketing budget of the destination, including Vincy Mas, has been doing a lot of promotions of the festival overseas, including in the UK.
In England, for example, where they had branded taxis, a number of taxis were branded Destination St. Vincent, including promoting the cricket and so forth. So persons were aware prior to coming to St. Vincent that, hey, cricket and carnival, there's a synergy right there. So as you said, persons would have made that decision, depending on how many vacation days they had and when they were able to come to St. Vincent and so forth. Not everybody coming for cricket will be able to stay, but of course, those who can, you know, they certainly, yes.
Would you say that that when the World Cup came, when the Cup came here and you guys had the trophy tour, would you describe it as a successful tour? Was the interest of intention sufficiently peaked to say, well, okay, Carnival is going to really benefit from this?
Yes. I would say definitely yes. One of the reasons for having the trophy tour is an excellent marketing tool for the ICC World Cup T20, right? Persons are aware. It is loud and present. You have a branded trailer, you have music playing. It wasn't possible for you to pass on the street where it's passing and not notice it. So it was noticeable. Then you had the individuals who are part of the trophy tour, like the Keswick Williams and so forth, and other persons who are very interactive. And that is what the ICC wanted to get from the trophy tour, interaction. They always wanted, the push was to have persons to take photos with it and so forth with the trophy. While they were not allowed to touch it, physically touch it, but to have the person who is responsible for carrying it, be able to pose with them and take photos that they can in turn post, send out on social media and so forth. So I think it was very, very effective. Persons got the message, trophy is in St. Vincent, and the cricket will be coming in a few weeks' time.
Vincy Mas 2024 runs from June 28th to July 9th. On Friday, June 14th, SVG will host its first cricket match under the floodlights at the Arnesville playing field. That match will be between South Africa and Nepal. A tour of the upgraded Arnesville Sporting Complex with Prime Minister Dr. Afghan Salves is expected to take place this evening at 8 p.m. On radio today, head of the traffic branch of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force, Assistant Superintendent of Police Parnell Brown, outlined the traffic arrangements for the match days of the ICC T20 World Cup, noting that they will be doing their best to ensure a smooth flow of traffic in the Arnesville area.
Persons wishing to attend the game and want to park, they will enter the gate closest to Sicker Graves. There is the entrance for persons who will be attending the game and want to park. Parking will be on the northern side of the runway at the old Annisville tarmac. So whether you're coming from the Windward side, Morocco side, or Kingston and Leeward side, will enter. For persons coming from the countryside, Windward side, you will enter the main gate at Options Supermarket. You'll travel across on the tarmac. The police will direct you as to which direction you should go. Likewise, persons entering from Annisville, Kingston, Side Hill, and the Leeward side will enter at the gate at the closest to security.
ASP Brown used the opportunity to appeal to persons attending the World Cup matches to leave their weapons at home, noting that carrying weapons signifies intent of committing an unlawful act.
Persons who have their licensed firearm, you have to walk with your firearm. Do not leave your firearm at home. Do not leave them in your vehicles. Walk with your licensed firearm to the game. At Annisville, at the game, there will be an area which will be manned by the police, and you will be asked to hand over your firearm to the police. An entry will be made, and after game is completed, or when you want to leave the Annisville Stadium, you can go to the police and retrieve your licensed firearm. Well, it is a total different atmosphere in St. Vincent and the Grenadines as a whole. We have seen the development in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We have seen where we have the lighting of the Annisville Stadium. We have seen a lot of development, and persons returning home will be amazed as to how much St. Vincent and the Grenadines have improved.
Mainland St. Vincent experienced another power outage yesterday morning. According to Chief Executive Officer of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Electricity Services Limited, VINLEC, Dr. Van Lewis, it was related to the problem with the switchgear that caused the first power outage about a week ago. Reporting on the problem on WFM's Issues at Hand, Dr. Lewis indicated that a section of the 33 kV switchgear at the Lomans Bay Power Plant malfunctioned during a switchover, noting that one section of the switchgear is being repaired.
The failure last week, the failure occurred because of a flashover. That's an insulation failure on the our 33 kV switchgear at Lomans Bay. It's something that we haven't seen or experienced before, but it did create some problems. Fortunately, our system has a lot of built-in redundancy. So we were able to isolate that side of the switchgear and continue to operate the island. So we had some repairs to do. We are waiting on the suppliers to fully repair one aspect of the switchgear, but we were able to repair another aspect of the switchgear, and we had a switching procedure this morning to re-energize that aspect of the switchgear. And we had some problems with the switching, so that's what led to the second outage. I don't know if I'm as clear as mud, but that's...
Dr. Lewis assured VINLEC customers that they are working on rectifying the problem to avoid another island-wide power outage.
We were working during the week to ensure that we got back some of the redundancy that we lost, because our system is stable. When I joined VINLEC, we had system failures multiple times a year. Now we have them probably every 2.5 years on average. For various reasons, some unforeseen like last week. Once we get the side of the switchgear back in service that we repaired, we should have a good level of reliability until the final aspect of the switchgear is repaired by the suppliers.
He added that while they would service breakers, they do not usually interfere with the busbar section of the switchgear, However, he said that they have to inspect the bus bar regularly. Meanwhile, Dr. Lewis explained that the power outage had nothing to do with the testing of lights at the Annisville playing field for the ICC T20 World Cup matches. Vinlek, he said, is serving as a backup to the generator that is on site.
System failure. When the first system failure occurred, the lights were not yet connected to our system. We had not energized that aspect of the work there. So our first system failure was not related to the lights, and the second system failure was not related to the lights because the lights are not currently on. I understand the generators will be the primary power and VNEC will be the backup power. And my understanding, the reason that is so, it's because it's a faster switch over. So if you're being powered from VNEC and there is an issue on the feeder, it takes the generators a little while to start up. But if you run the system from the generators and the generators have a problem, you can very quickly switch over to VNEC because we are there. And we are, quite frankly, if those lights can cause a system failure, we would be quite embarrassed.
Yeah.
Understood.
VNEC has issued scheduled outage notices to its customers as part of routine maintenance of the transmission and distribution network. The Ministry of Fisheries is working with several partners to ensure the South Coast Marine Conservation Area, the SCMCA, remains protected. At a recent event hosted for World Oceans Day, Fisheries Officer and Marine Biologist Chumel Martin reiterated the importance of the SCMCA, the only marine conservation area on mainland St. Vincent.
Just like every marine environment near heavy development, the South Coast faces numerous threats. Pollution from wastewater and sedimentation degrades water quality and harms these precious marine ecosystem. Illegal and unsustainable fishing practices also pose a threat to the species that can be found in this ecosystem.
Martin informed the educated persons on regulations, including the illegal sparing of fish.
You know that we have 10 marine conservation areas. So we have 10 marine conservation areas, and South Coast is the only one on mainland currently. How many of you know that you need to apply for a license before you can use a spare gun in our fishery water? So 4 people. So if you know anybody who has a spare gun and don't have a license, you need to make them aware of this, because if you are found violating this regulation, you can be fined.
In addition to the regulations on spare fishing, the fisheries officer also noted the bans on protected species.
Total bans on harvesting of parrotfish, turtles, and turtle eggs. South Coast is known as a turtle nesting ground, so we want to protect those turtles and their eggs. These species are crucial to the health of our marine environment, as South Coast provide habitats for these species. Parrotfish, for instance, plays a vital role in maintaining our reefs and contributing to sand formation. The South Coast is the only natural white sand beach on mainland St. Vincent. Though small, South Coast mangroves helps to play a significant role in carbon sequestration. This means it helps to capture and store atmospheric carbon dioxide.
The South Coast Marine Conservation Area is between Indian Bay and Johnson Point at Canache, including Young Island and Fort Juvenet. 31-year-old teacher Glenrick Edwards from Diamond is missing. The Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force issued a missing person bulletin today, seeking the help of the public to locate the teacher. According to the report, Edwards, who is 6 feet tall and of medium build, was last seen in Barley. Anyone with information is asked to contact the police emergency numbers 911 or 999 or 457-1211, the Eastern Division at 458-6229, or any police station. The police say all information will be treated confidentially. President of the SVG Teachers Union, Oswald Robertson, voiced his concern about the missing teacher and pleaded with the public to assist in locating him.
And I would like to express my concern about the missing of Mr. Glenrick Edwards, a 31-year-old teacher from the Diamond area. And we're appealing to the general public, if anybody has any information concerning his whereabouts, to inform the nearest police station. And we are encouraging persons to assist the police in trying to find his whereabouts.
Robertson expressed hope that the teacher would be found alive, pointing out that Edward is in his prime years and anyone can only hope for a safe return home.
There is no foul play or anything tragic about him, because, as you know, a teacher in his mid-years, and also for the school, that depends on his service and the community, because, as you know, teachers play a vital role in the development of our societies. So we just want to express our concern on his not being evident, not being present around, and we hope that we'll be able to find him, and more so being alive. Just hope that nothing tragic has happened to him.
Deputy Manager of the Kingstown Board, Marez Endeavor, is appealing to the people to support the vendors inside the vegetable markets in Kingstown. On the WFM's Cop Chat program recently, Endeavor noted that when you buy from vendors on the street, you're encouraging street vending, which they are seeking to regulate.
Exposed to contamination, because most person tends to vend on the floor. That can pose a significant health risk. I remember late last year, I had a similar radio program on this radio station with a representative of the Ministry of Health, who would have highlighted the implication, the do's, the don'ts, the pros, the cons, because that's his area of expertise, not mine. But I remembered he would have given a great preview as to the importance of vending in the market. So I wish to take this opportunity once more to ask persons to please support the vendors inside of the market and to avoid supporting vending activity on the street, because basically what they too are doing is encouraging illegal vending. All right, thank you so much for having me.
All right, and given that this is Cop Chat.
Speaking on lack of consistency with enforcing rules and regulations on street vending, Endeavor said all it takes is all parties to play their part in disseminating unauthorized street vending.
Mentioned before permitted vendors, and I mentioned the illegal vendors. So there are those persons who are placed on the street that the market officers are authorized to collect from, right? Because they got consent to be there. There are those persons, however, who are unauthorized. Those are the persons currently we are trying to remove from the streets of Kingston. Those are the persons who the security guards, security officers would try to collaborate with police to have them removed, because there are even persons who would have gone to court before, and by the time the court hearing, they were back right where they were. There are persons who violently attacked workers, even the police officers, and again, after the court hearing, they are back where they are. So it has been a situation, I don't want to say outside of the Kingston Board's control, because really and truly it is our sole responsibility to regularize the vending activity in Kingston. But there is a saying that it takes a village to raise a child. So in a case like this, it takes all parties to play their part.
Noting that in the latter part of 2023, the Kingston Board made significant progress in removing a number of vendors off the streets, and ever said things have slowly reverted back to the way they were.
And we'll get complaints from the very vendors inside of the markets who would say that to the management of Kingston Board that it's unfair for persons to be outside because we're still in here. And, you know, Vincentian tends to be deemed as impulse buyer. I'm guilty of that. Sometimes you don't necessarily would need something, but you're walking along the street of Kingston and you see somebody with it and you will be reminded that, oh, I need this. So a lot of persons have that mindset. A lot of vendors have that mindset. So even at times you find persons running away from the stall with a basket, right? And I strongly believe if everybody would have come in the market, it would have given us enough time to, you know, go on to phase 2, which is to advertise and promote and do all these things, because it had started already with the API. But it's just that we are still trying to get this situation under control, where all of the vendors who are not supposed to be vending on the streets return to their stall or come to us so we make alternative provision.
A total of 34 representatives from across the local business sector will hone their skills in financial management. One record-keeping workshop organized by the Center for Enterprise Development, Inc., the CED. The Financial Management Module 1 workshop entitled An Introduction to Record Keeping commenced today at the Meslis Wesley Hall, Kingstown. The CED said the workshop is intended for MSME owners, managers, accounts clerks, and other interested individuals responsible for financial management in their organization, or those just wishing to understand the fundamentals of financial management. It said participants will get an understanding of the basics of bookkeeping and learn how to record and discriminate fixed assets, record credit sales and payments, reconcile bank statements, and prepare petty cash books. They will also learn how to record cash sales and payments, prepare, analyze, and interpret financial statements, as well as record keeping value-added tax purposes.